how many percentage of international students are SFA every year attracted?
Past fall semester, we enrolled 150 international students.
Why is that 150 or still it has to be marketed well? What is the reason behind actually?
And we're a small community, about 30,000 people who live in the town. When the students are here, they are about 25% of the population. But that's the great thing. It's
The moment they understand the university, what are all those key points?
Imagine the amount of referrals we get from current students, their friends, their family, because
How difficult is it getting a job on campus and off campus, especially for international students?
now that we're part of the UT University of Texas system, they're really investing in that because it's something that
Welcome to today's podcast organized by the Global Education and Careers Forum in partnership with Stephen F. Austin State University, or SFA as it's popularly known. We are thrilled to have you with us as we dive into an insightful conversation about studying in the US, navigating the admission process, and understanding what international students can expect at SFA. Our esteemed guest brings a wealth of experience and expertise. First, we have Ms. Heather Catton, Director of the Recruitment Office at SFA. With her extensive experience in student outreach, Ms. Catton will share valuable insights into what makes SFA an outstanding destination for international students and the unique opportunities available on campus. Joining her is Ms. Sarah Lower, admissions officer at SFA, who will guide us through the admissions process, helping prospective students understand how they can successfully embark on their academic journey at SFA. Her experience in international admissions will be invaluable for those looking at joining the Lumberjack, which is the university's mascot. To host today's session, we have Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan, Secretary of the GCF, and myself, Rashmi Vijay, Director of Education Matters. Before we speak to the international officers, I just want to give you a brief introduction about the university. Stephen F. Austin State University is a public university based out of Texas. It was founded as a teachers training college in 1923 and subsequently named after Texas founding father Stephen F. Austin on May 11th, 2023, and the university joined the University of Texas system. The university is about 3 hours from Dallas, 4 hours from Austin, and about 2 hours from Houston. It is accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools to award bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. Though the university is located in a rural East Texas college town, a vast majority of SFA students come from Greater Houston, the Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex, and other cities throughout Texas. SFA also has served students from about 46 states outside Texas and about 42 countries outside the United States. Famous alumni of this university include George W. Kennedy, who is the co discoverer of the element plutonium; Nancy Dickey, first female to be elected president of the American Medical Association. The song is quite popular. We might not know who the lyricist is behind the song. And other alumni of this university is Will Jenkins, the lyricist of the very popular song My Heart Will Go On from the movie Titanic, which was sung by Celine Dion. So, welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Heather. Thank you for joining us in this podcast. I hope the students are able to benefit out of this podcast and get a lot more information about studying in the US, especially at SFA.
Okay. I mean,
thank you very much.
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Rashmi, for the wonderful intro. Actually, I would say, because I doubt whether I should be, though I do a lot of podcasts. Generally, I take the privilege of asking these details with the guest itself. Actually, amazing one. So, I mean, probably we may start with. Can you give us a little overview of, say, I mean, like, how many percentage of international students or number of international students SFA every year attracted, and what kind of numbers which are looking at in India? And can you just throw some lights on that actually?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, looking at our university as a whole, we have about 10,000 students attending, and only about 1% of those. This past fall semester, we enrolled 150 international students.
Okay.
And currently, we have 9 students from India who are studying with us, and 6 additional students. They're still our students. They're actually on OPT, their post graduation work permit. So 6 students who are in that category. So total, we have 15 of our 150 students are from India.
Okay.
But yeah, we have students from about 50 different countries right now.
That's great. Good to
And
know
are
actually.
all of them from UG or undergraduate or graduate students?
I would say probably about 70% of them are graduate students. Yeah,
Graduate students.
studying in cybersecurity, natural sciences, MBA, computer science, and actually one student, undergraduate, who is studying nursing
Oh,
Mhm.
That's thing.
wow.
Oh, that's
Yeah, plus
surprising
forestry.
actually.
Yeah.
That's
and
surprising.
forestry.
Yeah. Yeah. Because generally, I mean, I don't get surprised if you say anything with computing, cybersecurity, data science, because like
Yes.
because like anything in India, 70 to 80% of engineers is in the form of computing or IT, all these things actually.
Yes.
So nursing is surprising. I think that too for undergraduate. It is that's a welcoming call. Okay.
Yes.
And it's a very in demand program as well, which
Yeah.
a lot of,
Yeah. Yeah, and India is the only country I believe that we can supply the manpower wherever they wanted actually.
Hmm.
as
Yeah.
far
Yes.
as nursing is concerned, yes.
So give us some. I mean, like I mean, we understand that like your number on international is very small, 150 compared to. I mean, like there is compared to other. Is there is any restriction that like you limit the international students, or why is that 150, or still it has to be marketed well? What is the reason behind actually?
Yeah, so we definitely do not limit the applications or enrollment for international students. I think some of it is, we're in a very unique location.
Okay.
And some students, when they think about Texas, they're like, okay, Dallas, Houston, Austin, the bigger cities.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit more difficult to market
Okay.
it to come to a rural community. But I think once our students get here, they see the benefits of being in a smaller community, having the more individualized support, having
Okay.
smaller classes, knowing their professors. Um, so I think we have a lot of benefits for international students, but it's just not initially like the main attraction. They're looking. I want to go to a bigger city. I want to go where the jobs are. But if you go to a school where there are 1,000 international students, unfortunately, I think they kind of tend to get lost. They don't get that personal attention and connection that we can give at our university. So
I'm
we're
sure.
definitely happy to grow our
Yeah.
international students. There's no problem there.
I'm sure this
Um,
podcast maybe open up with a lot of people to, I mean, take that entry route
So,
actually.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you would have noted, Heather and Sarah, I am not sure about how you pronounce the location of the campus, so
Yes,
I've
I
actually
noticed you
tried
you skipped
avoiding
that. I
it.
noticed you skipped that. So we can tell you a little bit about that.
Yes, if you could tell us something unique about it.
Sarah is a native of our
Oh,
town. It's called Nacogdoches, Texas.
Okay.
And we're a small community, about 30,000 people who live in the town. And when the students are here, they are about 25% of the population. So it's a really nice college town.
Okay.
But that's the great thing. It's so friendly, it's open. to people coming in, because that's what we're used to. All the students come here, we're used to new populations. And our community loves to support the international students. We always have groups coming to invite them to events, to dinners. I just had an email this morning where one of our local churches wants to have a study night for the international students where they serve pancakes and coffee to them. So it's a small town, Nacogdoches, Texas, but super friendly to
Mm,
international students.
yeah.
That's good to know actually. 30 percentage of students forms the city's population. That means like
Yes,
you guys makes the rule there actually.
yes. So during the holidays, it's really quiet.
So, can you also throw us some of the popular programs? I mean, I'm more concerned about them among Indian students or among international students. Which are all those proper programs? I mean, like, why do they look at those programs? I mean, like, as SFA.
Yeah, well, definitely cybersecurity is the big one recently.
Mhm.
And I think, they're just looking at future job prospects, what's the hot area right now. So definitely cybersecurity has been the big one. Um, Computer science, MBA, because that always complements whatever field you're in. That's a great complement to that, having that business background. And recently, really the growing one, and this is part because we haven't mentioned we are now a member of the University of Texas system.
Yes.
And we're kind of unique because where we're located. I think most people, when they think about Texas, they think of like cowboy desert, that, but we're in the forest. We have trees everywhere. It's super green. So we have a college of forestry and agriculture,
Okay,
which is kind of unique. And now that we're part of the UT University of Texas system, they're really investing in that, because it's something that is new in the University of Texas system. So we're getting a lot of resources. Um, and the great thing for international students is that they're investing in graduate assistantships.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
where the students have an on campus job, maybe research, maybe working with the professor. So, that area is getting very well funded. So, it's attracting a lot more international students as
Yeah.
well.
A quick question here, because you said you are a small town. How during the first year, I understand students work on campus. How difficult is it getting a job on campus and off campus, especially for international students?
Well, I can answer that. Um, I would say it's very easy. I don't have students coming to me saying I couldn't find a job on campus.
Okay.
And really, that runs the gamut. Those types of jobs, from working in our residence halls to working as tutors. If they want something like working in the many restaurants we have on campus, there's always something for somebody. And most of those jobs are online. You can take a look at our website, and there's a place for hiring. So it's really an easy process.
that's so good to know actually. I have
Yeah.
one doubt actually. Is the MBA programs comes under the STEM? Because like generally, students, international student look for the. I mean, like 3 years of OPT and other things actually. Is that comes
Right.
under the STEM?
It does not. No, it's just kind of a general MBA program, so it is
Okay,
not classified as STEM.
that's good. I mean, still it is
Yeah.
not STEM. Still take us that means really appreciable. That's great actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, generally, I mean, like, as you said, like, what kind of, I mean, if a student look for SFA, can you just give us a throughout, like, why do they look at, because, like, as you said, like, the moment they understand the university, what are all those key points, which is a highlight, which, I mean, like, popular university cannot give it, or the known university cannot give it, whereas SFA can give it, some of those things, probably, as, I mean, Sarah can give us because the smile really does
Yeah, yeah.
good number of things to
Definitely.
say.
You wouldn't. imagine the amount of referrals we get from current students, their friends, their family, because you're getting a personalized experience. I mean,
Mm.
I know when I went to UT Austin, I mean, in my first classes, I had 200, 300, sometimes up to 400 students, and it can feel like you're just a number. And
Yeah.
here we have smaller personalized classes, which is really good. And I think also the fact that the Stephen F. Austin State University now represents the University of Texas system,
Mm.
which is known globally, is really a plus. So you're getting basically the prices of a smaller university connected to the University of Texas system. So
That's
it's a
great.
really good deal as well. And then funding. You know, funding is a really big thing, and people are surprised how good our funding is for how small a university we are. Yeah.
Good.
So I'd
Sarah,
say
you
those 3 things.
you talked about two major, I mean, factors which has a lot of influence on the admission. One is
Mhm,
talks about scholarship and funding. Other one is you
mhm.
talked about fees. Would I mean request you to throw a light on those area in depth actually.
Are you talking about the admission process?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it couldn't be easier, really. You can go to our website and apply directly from our website. Um, it's straightforward, whether you're a graduate student or an undergraduate student. There's basic prerequisites, there's basic requirements, and that is proof of English proficiency
Okay,
and a credential evaluation of your transcripts.
okay.
For an undergraduate, that's all you need. You know, testing is not required, which is really nice. And then for the graduate level, you can imagine there are other requirements on top of that. But again, a big question I have all the time is, am I going to have to take the GRE or the GMAT courses? That's very unusual for one of our graduate programs. A lot of times it's a statement of purpose that might be sufficient, like for our MBA program, or if a student is looking for an assistantship, usually there are reference letters involved. It just depends on the program. But again, we have such a personalized approach to the admission process. You know, in a lot of places you apply, you see everything that's online that are the requirements, which is part of our process too. But we send out, in addition to that, a personalized email right away so that students can ask us questions, they can be walked through the process. We send them separate requirements and an attachment, not additional requirements, but it makes it clear what they need to do. And of course, if they have any questions or concerns, you know, we're right there. And I know that's something that a lot of universities don't offer. You are
Great.
indeed a number.
So,
So that's basically the process.
that's great. Sarah, can you
Yeah.
also give us a little light if the student is academically bright and I mean, extracurricular activity is good? What kind of scholarship or grants are available for graduate
Hmm.
students? Or you also talk about research assistants or teaching assistants. How do they
Sure.
apply for those things actually?
Well, I'll say up front that whether it's a graduate student or an undergraduate student, if your grades are good, you'll be able to qualify likely for an international student scholarship,
Okay.
which would allow you to pay in-state tuition rates. And then for
So,
graduate, yeah, that's wonderful right there.
yeah,
And
right.
then, and in fact, any scholarship over $1,000 would qualify a student for in-state tuition. Let's say you're a transfer student. If you got our transfer scholarship, which you don't even have to apply for, they just look at your transcript, that's $1,000 or more right there, and that would qualify the student for in-state tuition. And then on the graduate level, I've been really impressed by how many graduate assistantships are available through the graduate programs. And you can imagine mostly STEM programs. But we even have some programs, such as forestry, and chemistry is another big one. Natural and applied sciences with a concentration in chemistry. These are almost or are fully funded uh, positions.
Mm.
Oh,
So there's a
good.
lot of funding involved, and again, that personalized touch is so important because students can email me and find out right away. They often ask me, even though we don't handle the assistantship program that's done through, each one of those programs, I can answer them and give them advice. Yes, this is a program that often gives out, graduate assistantships, or I can direct them somewhere else. But I think it's, again, really important. And the professors are the same way. You can reach out to them in advance. They'll tell you whether they have funding or not. It's really personalized.